What's up, everybody? We're the For the Love of Sports podcast. We're just some guys talking sports. We're your hosts. I'm Malik, the glue to the team. Corey and Jay are my two best friends, sharing knowledge and unprofessional athletic thoughts. Follow us on our social media on our Instagram at the number 4 TLOS podcast and on our TikTok FTLOS pod. So if you want to follow us on social media, keep up with us day to day. That's where you can do it. Send us TikToks, send us videos, ask us questions, interact with us. Let's have a good time. So Corey, what do we have coming up today?
Well, Malik, we got NFL Week 13 recap. We're talking college football, and then we're ending with a pretty super draft, if you know what I mean. Yep. And I'm just gonna say it. What I love this week is these topics because we're talking all football all day, and I think all of these topics are Louis. 100% Louis. 100%. And we are going to start off with Deion Sanders' move to Colorado.
Absolutely.
I have a question for you guys. If Travis Hunter goes with him and he doesn't perform well, is that a bad look on Jackson State?
Why on Jackson State?
Because he's looked good in the time that he's played in Jackson State. He's been on both sides of the ball. So I feel like if he goes to Colorado and doesn't perform well, then that shows that there's a clear gap between that division or that level and then what like the power schools level.
Okay.
Well, I think most people already know how severe that gap is because he's playing Power 5. Assuming he transfers, he'll be playing Power 5. None of those, well, not none, but majority of the schools in FCS can't compete anyway. So I don't know if that would make Jackson State look bad. I think it would make Travis Hunter look not necessarily bad, but it would take time for him to adjust to that level. Mm-hmm. And although he was a 5-star, he was the number 1 player in high school coming out. But I do think that there will be a learning curve.
And he was going to go to Florida State. So for him to, go down to Jackson State, I think it just allowed him to play both sides of the ball, because I don't know. We don't really see the guys, at the Power 5 schools playing both sides that frequently. Mm-hmm. There's a couple, but I don't think many do that. So, and Florida State thought he had the capabilities to come there and play. So I think he can go to the Pac-12 and go to Colorado and be successful potentially.
Sure. Everybody thought he had the capabilities. He got offered by just about any big name you can think of.
True. And it's Deion Sanders, so he's going to pull in but I think there's 100 or something new names in the transfer portal, and half of them are from Alabama. Mm-hmm. So I almost can predict that it'll be Alabama North here coming in a few months, maybe a couple of weeks,
Yeah, it very well could be. I mean, I think that the caliber, of players and coaches that he's going to bring is going to, change the game. And if you listen to his press conferences, which, for our listeners and our watchers, please, if you haven't already, go listen to the press conferences and what he says to the team, because he just preaches, he's focused on winning, changing the culture. I mean, Colorado went 1-11 this year.
They need a culture shift.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and in his meeting to the players, it's, no one's wearing hats. We're not wearing earrings. We're all going to look the same. We're going to open the door, say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir, all that stuff, I'm excited. I'm really excited for it.
He ruffled a couple feathers in that, his initial meeting with the team, though. Not mine. I loved it, but he did ruffle a couple feathers because he was being honest with the players, saying like, I'm bringing my luggage," and Corey alluded to it, and it's Louis.
It's
So
Louis.
just know, like, go on, hop in that portal. Essentially, if you ain't ready to be a part of this, if you're not gonna work or outwork these 4 or 5 stars I got, these transfers I got coming in that have already established themselves in college. So to me, and I went through a coaching change in college, so I can respect the transparency there. You don't want a coach coming in there lying to you or selling you dreams about what it could look like for you. Nah, because everything that you've known, say you a sophomore or junior, everything that you've known for the last couple of years is getting ready to be flipped over so on its head.
Yep.
Like it's going to be completely different. New philosophy, new language, new procedures, new policies, things that you have to follow. And if you're not ready for that, the portal is the best place for you to be. And him saying that, I don't have a problem with that.
Do you guys think after this, if Deion takes that program and they're 1-11 this year, and let's say they win 9-10 games next year, and it's heavily transfer portal kids, do you think they start making changes to the way the transfer portal is, being that they just changed it?
Yeah, it's going to be the Deion rule for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because they already were hot with Deion getting some players that typically wouldn't go to Jackson State. So I don't think it's fair to change it off just because he's able to get those players. Like he can relate to the players the most. I mean, he's played at the highest level and had a Hall of Fame career. I think any kid would want to learn from him. So, but I do think that they are going to change that.
And he said in one of the pressers that I was watching earlier that, yes, the NIL is great for students, and he wants them to make that money, but he wants them to focus on the NFL and not the NIL. And I said, "Oh, I'm going back to school. I'm going back to school."
Yeah, I feel that because I feel a certain way about the NIL stuff and then the transfer portal, because back in the day, or I guess maybe even just a couple years ago before NIL was released, or literally like 2 years ago, but kids were staying in like where they were. Like if they didn't play freshman, sophomore year, they're gonna tough it out and stay junior year. Maybe they pop off senior year. They're the captain. They were waiting their turns. Now it's like they're not waiting. Like if you don't play for a year, I'm going somewhere else. And if I don't play there, I'm going somewhere else.
Yep.
And like to a point, I can understand because coaches have all the autonomy in the world. They can go wherever they want to go. So if I come in my first year and then my coach leaves after that year, I don't deserve to, like, I don't have to stay. I shouldn't have to stay. So I think there needs to be if we're going to have a conversation about players transferring, have an issue with that, we need to also talk about coaches leaving the programs high and dry when a new opportunity presents itself.
That's fair.
Is that their fault though?
No,
like if you're Deion, for example, like let's say you're Travis Hunter, right? He went to Jackson State because of Deion.
Boom.
Deion I don't think he owes it to any of the players or anybody at Jackson State. If Colorado's offering him $5 million and he got $300K a year at Jackson State, that just makes money sense to move. And I feel like, yeah, it definitely sucks for the players and they should have the ability to move. But I think changing that basically every year almost, like you could like transfer and then be like, oh, I didn't play here, or I started to play and then somebody else got hot, so now I got to transfer again. I feel like that doesn't build the kind of player that actually would succeed in the NFL.
Agreed.
Yeah,
and I agree. I think, this is me being in my admissions, brain. We don't tell students that they can't leave after a semester, like students can come in. If you're not an athlete, you come in, you do your work, and maybe you're not happy with the classes, or you thought the program was going to be a certain type of way. It's not. You leave, like who are we to put a cap on that? You're paying, to be here. So I understand, maybe if you're on a scholarship, like that kind of changes things because if you transfer, you might not get that scholarship somewhere else. But I think, when you compare coaches, they got the buyouts. Like either teams are buying out or the coaches are paying out. And Deion had to pay I think it was like $375 to leave.
Dropping the bucket for my man.
I mean, like, I don't know where he gonna get it from because he's got it everywhere. Like he's got different buckets that he could just, here, take it. Like he probably still has NFL money that he hasn't touched yet, and he's throwing.
Oh, 1,000%.
Exactly. Like
I'm pretty sure Hall of Famers get a percentage. They have a Hall of Fame, like a percentage of the NFL revenue each year. They have like a Hall of Fame bucket that goes in.
That's elite.
That's super tough.
Yeah. I just want there to be a conversation. I don't have a problem with either side leaving. Coaches, if a new opportunity presents itself, take it.
Right.
It's better for you, better for like your family and all that. I can't say that you shouldn't take it, but I just don't think we should put all the onus on the kids to be the adult.
Definitely not.
No. And I like how Deion is bringing some students with him. He's bringing, I think I read somewhere roughly around 10-ish, and then you got the transfer students. Like people are coming to play for Deion, that brings so much money for whatever program he's at. Let's say his deal is 5 years. Okay, great. Let's say he stays 3. That he just changed the culture, brought a bunch of money into Colorado. Like he's probably going to stay for a while. Like he finally has that opportunity to, be at a Power 5 school, potentially win a national championship. And I think that's the biggest thing, like he wasn't going to win a natty at Jackson State. There was a conversation earlier this year about Jackson State potentially playing Alabama. He's like, you got to give me a couple more years. I got to get, a certain caliber of player at Jackson State before I can even think about that. I'm not trying to get these guys hurt. So now he's at Colorado, similar level. I'm not going to say they're Alabama SEC level because it is the Pac-12, but you're on a much better.
They have Oregon and USC and Utah and all that. Like there's some good teams in there, and Stanford for a long time was really competitive. Not now as much, but they were definitely popping off.
It's not the same. I get what you're saying. It's not the same level, but he will begin to get the kids that go to those SEC schools.
Exactly.
So yeah, the playing field will level itself out.
Exactly. I don't think that this year, or I guess 2023, Colorado is in consideration for the CFP. They're gonna have a tough comeback being 1-11 this season. Like they're gonna probably start pretty low in the rankings or mid-tier, but I have them at like 7-8 wins.
Even if they win 2 games, that's an improvement.
Boom.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I think if they win, like let's say they win 8 games, right? Mm-hmm. That's just being really generous. But if you can get a win against Oregon, Utah, USC, maybe Oregon State or the Huskies, like, depending on how they're ranked at the beginning of the year, I could see them skyrocketing pretty high, especially if they put a couple of those back to back. Like if you beat Oregon and Washington in back to back weeks,
maybe on the road.
Yeah. Like that's impressive. Like they have to consider that, like they may not, like they may skyrocket in the beginning and then fall back down, but like they have some players in their conference that they can definitely put a conversation together.
Oh, absolutely. I think they can. And, I don't want to say Deion's he's going to change the culture, bring in all these guys. I think if we realistically look at it, they're going to keep a good portion of their current roster. They're going to bring in a lot of transfers. They're going to bring some guys from Jackson State, and they're going to bring in some first-year students. That's a lot of people learning a new system, learning each other. One thing I will say, like, you got a brand new coaching staff that they all got to come together. Like, I think the first year, I'm going to give him grace. I don't think the media is going to give him grace. I think the media is going to expect Deion to come in there and win 10, 11 games.
The expectations have to be realistic, though, in my opinion.
I think everybody will say that, like 10 games is like the expectation, quote unquote. But then he wins 6, and I think everybody's okay with it.
It should be.
Yeah, more than all right with that. He just hired Kent State's head coach to be his OC, offensive coordinator. So I think that's a really good move because I didn't know that they were one of the top scoring offenses in the country. I had no clue.
Yep. And like for a head coach to take a step down to come,
he's trying to be a part of the movement, and it's crazy. Yeah. He's probably getting paid more.
Yes, but he's also moving up in conference. Like he's moving to a higher caliber of play. You know, like it's not just. In a video I watched earlier, Deion is a football guy. Deion is not, entirely here to change schools or change all this other stuff. He's trying to change the football program, the football culture, and win a championship himself. Deion is trying to be the best football coach now that he can be. And this is how he does it. You get your start at Jackson State, you're head coach. Now you go to Colorado, you're a head coach, you're bringing in great talent, you're bringing in, on the field and on the sidelines. And this will hopefully bolster up the opportunity for more, coaches, Yeah.
I think his personality, like his route that he took, he was never anybody's assistant. And I think that his personality wouldn't allow him to be anybody's assistant because Deion Sanders has been the same person that he's always been his entire career. So I think the route that he took is probably going to benefit him in the long run because there's never been a coach that go from an HBCU to go Power 5 like that. So, but it's a no-brainer to me. But I wanted to ask you guys about the scrutiny that or the backlash that he's getting from the Black community. And like a lot of people calling him a sellout, saying that he was selling dreams to Jackson State, the whole university, as well as the football program and HBCUs, honestly, as a whole. So I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on that.
Go ahead. Well, you can go first if you want.
I don't agree with it. I don't think that he was selling this long-term dream of I'm going to be here for 4 years and then I'm going to extend my contract and I'm going to change everything about Jackson State. He came in there to change the football program, to get his head coaching start. And one thing that bothers me about it is Deion is giving back to Jackson State out of his own salary. Granted, I know he has way more money. He has millions of dollars that he could have, give me $3 million, boom, football program. We're going crazy. No, why would you do that? Because he knows he's not staying there long term. He wants to be the best. He wants to win a national championship, and he's not doing that there. So, you got to understand that, yes, you got to start somewhere. I'm not saying Jackson State's an entry-level job, but, you have to come in and then work your way up. And I don't think that us in the Black community should be upset that Deion now has an opportunity in a Power 5 program to do, great things. After Colorado had a Black head coach who was released and he gets to replace him. That does not happen. That does not happen.
Yeah.
And we scream and cry because coaches all the time, there's all these coaching vacancies. We have, this Black coach is going to be great. This coach is going to be great. They don't get the job. So we're upset. Now Deion gets the opportunity to get more resources. He's getting paid more. He's bringing in great talent on and off the field to do great things. And he's going to, I'm sure Deion is going to, diversify that roster as well. And then it's in turn going to diversify the school, because even if I didn't play football and I knew Deion Sanders was at Colorado and I'm a football fan, I'm going to Colorado. I'm going to the University of Colorado. So, especially if I live in the state, no brainer.
Oh, yeah. I watched a podcast earlier, and that was like their main topic of the day. And it seemed like a lot of the frustration was coming from people who felt like he was using HBCUs to jumpstart his career. And to me, I didn't really see why they had an issue with that, being that he never sold the idea that he was about the HBCU. Like obviously he supports them. Like he's not like against HBCUs. He obviously supports it, but he never had these grand plans of like reinventing HBCU sports. And I I really had an issue with one of the points that they had. They were saying that as an older member of the Black community who has reached like an elite status, you have a responsibility to give back, like in like knowledge and position and stuff like that. And to me, that seemed like they were just wanting him to be like a sacrifice. Like they wanted him to sit at Jackson State and to have this like diamond of a program in which they could just facilitate people through and have them spread out. And while that's fine and dandy and would work for everybody else, that doesn't benefit Deion in any way. Like why does he have to be the person that sits there and like not to say suffers, because I'm not going to say that that's a bad spot. I'm sure he very much enjoys coaching those kids down there. Mm-hmm. But like I feel like that's a really selfish way to look at it when you can just be like, hey, like I'm glad that he's done so well for himself prior to now, and then be like, dang, he's still striding, you know?
Yeah.
I watched so Bomani Jones was on CNN today talking about it. And one of the points that he brought up was that Deion said that, end quote, God sent me here to save HBCUs, end quote. So I don't know if he said that or not, but obviously Bomani Jones felt like he felt confident enough to say it. So I'm assuming he did say that. What were you about to say, Malik?
Oh, I was just waiting for you to be done, but I watched that clip as well. I watched a clip of it, and even if he did say that, I don't want to say Deion, saved HBCUs, because I don't know if HBCUs needed saving. They needed exposure. They needed, better opportunities to be seen, heard, and felt. And what did Deion do? He brought College Game Day.
Right.
He's now got a conversation started about a HBCU network being started for college athletics. Like,
do you know how many games?
I think he's done more for HBCUs than anybody that I can think of as far as like sports, like obviously HBCUs have like their, like, you go and because of like the marching band and like all of the like other like scholars that have gone through there and stuff like that. And it's like a culture and stuff, but like, it's not like HBCU sports necessarily aren't always like that high, they aren't that high unless some people that go there.
Mm-hmm.
He's done more for HBCU sports and exposure than majority of the people that are criticizing him, I will say. Mm-hmm. Also, another thing, because I talked to my girlfriend about it, Savannah, and we were just like, I don't think that Deion deserves to be held as this standard for like a HBCU coach, or like all of the it shouldn't be his burden to bear. You know what I'm saying? Like to propel all of these HBCUs forward. He did what he needed to do at Jackson State. There was nothing else he could have done. Back-to-back SWAC championships.
Mm-hmm.
What else is there to do? He got his stuff stolen out of his lock, and just him. So like it was targeted. So like, and this is the type of thing that people don't talk about when it comes to like HBCUs. It has to be a symbiotic relationship where both of the parties are benefiting mutually. Because if not, then what I'm just helping the program out and I'm not getting anything back in return. The facilities at this is just a generalization. So I'm not saying every HBCU is like this, but majority, the facilities can't compete with Power Five.
Nope.
Any school in the Power Five. It could be the worst school. They can't compete with the facilities, the staff, the resources. So imagine you take everything Deion did at Jackson State and you bring that over to Colorado. I don't care that it's not an HBCU. He's doing this for Black people.
Yes, I agree.
Indirectly, because if you think every roster in America on college football teams, not every, but a lot, 80% of that roster will be Black.
Yes.
It is a dominated. We dominate that sport.
Yes.
So imagine he can put those people in positions to succeed in the NFL or get their education paid for. He's getting his assistants who are also minorities paid better, where they were scraping pennies at Jackson State to make ends meet, but they were just there thugging it out with him.
Yep.
So if he's doing all of these things, I don't see how you can call him a sellout. It's not like he's turning his back on Black people. He didn't even turn his back on Jackson State.
No.
He just went to a better opportunity, and I don't see why that's such a bad thing. And like if you haven't done anything yourself, you haven't donated any money or watched any games or showed any support to HBCU, you don't deserve to criticize him for that because you don't support HBCUs.
And even if you do support HBCUs, why are you mad at him when he's giving back almost half his salary?
What else you want from him?
And he was facilitating like all of their like travel and stuff when they had like long road games. He was using his American Airline Connect to get them discounts on travel. Jackson State.
Strahan.
Yeah, exactly.
Got them suits. Like, what are we talking about?
Mm-hmm. He used his Under Armour Connect to be the only people that had more uniforms this year than Jackson State was Oregon. And that's Oregon, you know?
Nike headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
Come on, bro.
So I don't see like what else can he do?
That's it.
So if people thought that he was going to stay 30 years at Jackson State and just be some amazing coach and lose like 10 games in a 30-year career, what is that going to do for him?
Nothing.
I wish that some of the old HBCU coaches that ran like Grambling State and all those like the SWAC teams and more like you got CIAA, there's all of the HBCU conferences, MEAC. If those coaches that ran those powerhouses had this opportunity, you think they're not taking it?
I'm out.
$5 million.
1,000%. They're 1,000% taking it.
$300,000 a year, and now he's making $400,000 a month.
You don't even need to go to Colorado. You know, like you could probably go to another school, like a worse school, and they'd probably still take that because it's just money talks.
Yeah, like I truly don't care if it's Colorado, I can't even think of another team that just gets steamrolled every week.
I can't either.
Northwestern,
Nebraska, some like, bro,
Nebraska would be a gig.
To offer.
I got another thing. You know how excited the athletic director is for this opportunity, not only for the school, but for Deion, because they also have a good relationship, is they don't even have all the money to pay this man yet. And he said, I'm not even worried about it.
We're going to get it.
What?
Because he knows it costs money to make money.
If you build it, they will come. And Deion is the hammer.
I'm telling you, bro, it's going to be a beautiful thing. And like we already said, expectations are going to be high, but I think he's going to meet them.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. The great indication of how excited Colorado is as a state, probably just statewide. It's a big state, but still. They gained 30,000 followers in less than 24 hours of him saying that he's going to come.
No way.
On Instagram, I swear.
That's crazy.
People are just going to watch.
Dead.
Mm-hmm. People are just going to watch that just to watch now. Like you have non-Colorado fans Like you're gonna get people that just want to watch the game just to see how Deion does. That would root against him, root for him. It doesn't matter. You're still gonna get that income.
Yeah, like now they're gonna be putting primetime slots.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be really good. I'm excited. Super excited.
Imagine they come out and they start off hot. And they go like 5-0 and have like a big name win, like a Oregon, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably college game day. Like boom,
Yep.
you know, they're there.
So the AD also said that, look, everyone, Colorado fans, don't sell your tickets. Come to the first opener against Nebraska because that's their rival. This stadium holds 50,000 seats. The last time they played back in 2019, the AD said that it was pretty red. It wasn't very, Colorado like. They still won the game, but I guarantee you that stadium will be black, white, or gold. For first game, guarantee it, sold out.
Yeah, like I just can't imagine how many doors this is gonna open for people who look like us. Like, imagine he gets a defensive coordinator who's black, and that defensive coordinator is top notch. He can go on and get a head coaching job anywhere. Hopefully.
Oh man,
I might gotta get me some Colorado gear.
Low key.
Where do you guys think he? Let's say Deion loses 8 games total in 3 years.
That's
right.
That's a dubski. That's good.
Yeah. Right. Where do you think he goes from here?
I think he wants. I personally think he might want to go back to the league. I think that's the path that he's on.
Really?
You think he tries to go NFL?
Imagine, bro. Free agency. Okay. Free agency will be a breeze. You sit down in this meeting with me. it'll take 5 minutes. We're gonna get
a lot of those guys he's coached, like in the Prime U or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So like,
but also think about if he's coaching right now and he recruits a couple guys. Hey, come to Colorado. You're gonna be in good hands with this next head coach after I leave. I'm gonna go to the league and I'm gonna draft you potentially. Come on, bro. Or he's playing he's coaching against a couple players. Hey, keep your eye on him. A couple years we're gonna get drafted, or we're gonna go to the league, draft him.
And I'm not gonna lie, Buddy doesn't even have to be a good coach. Doesn't like Deion Sanders. He doesn't have to be. If he hired the support staff around him, if they can get the job done, he's not calling any plays. That's why he brought in Buddy from Kent State. That's you. And then when I get this defensive coordinator, he gonna get me right. I'm setting the tone. That's what I'm doing. Managing the game, setting the tone. That's all he needs to do.
He could, if he sat at a program for like 10 years, he would be a menace, because you would have the best recruiting class every year, most likely. Especially if you're imagine Deion goes to, Harbaugh leaves Michigan, right? And then Deion goes and gets the head coaching job at Michigan.
Would be crazy.
Yeah, Michigan is, leaps and bounds better than ever. They're just number one. Like they're probably smoking Georgia next time they meet them.
What you mean?
Are you saying if Deion is the coach?
If Deion's there, if Deion goes to like one of those big, or Deion goes to Ohio State, right?
Yeah.
Could you imagine how powerful that would be, just walking into a 16, 17, 18-year-old kid's living room being like, hey, I want you to come play here. He gets the number 1 through 17 recruits.
Absolutely.
The only thing I don't want to see that, only because what I've been wanting for so long in college football is for parity, because I'm tired of seeing Alabama. I'm tired of seeing Ohio State, Clemson when they were hot. Like when Notre Dame was good, it was always Notre Dame. I want to see somebody build this program like Deion hopefully will do, build a program, and he's the top dog for 10, 15 years. He goes on like a Saban run where he just is an absolute dynasty.
Yeah.
That'd be impressive.
That's what I want to see.
That would be nice. I don't know what his next move's going to be, but whatever it is, I'm watching.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
I'm here for it.
I'd like to see. I think Jay's idea would be really cool. I'd like to see how Deion would be if he was in the NFL, because those guys, you're dealing with grown men then, and he can probably talk to him how he wants to, and actually give him all like. Imagine just going like, hey coach, how do I cover this dude? And then he just gives you like the whole playbook on how to shut down Justin Jefferson.
He gonna say, "Look up my film. I'll tell you everything you need to know."
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be crazy though, because he is always talking about he wants to keep it 100, be transparent. There's no better place to do that than the NFL because there's no cut cards. You either do it or you lose your job.
Do it or lose your job. Well, fellas, while we're still in this college football talk, let's talk about the CFP. We got Georgia at number 1. We got Michigan at number 2. We got TCU at number 3 and Ohio State at 4. Who do you have in the 1 and 4 matchup?
Do we have winning or who do we have?
I think he dropped. Did he drop for you?
But I think I have Georgia winning the whole thing.
Okay. So you got Georgia winning versus Ohio State. What about Michigan and TCU?
Michigan.
I want TCU to win so bad.
No, that's not happening.
I like Duggan. I like that kid.
I think
I like him. But I've been on TCU this whole year. I thought they were frauds, and they went and lost. And I feel like Ohio State deserved to be number 3 more than TCU.
If they hadn't gotten blown out,
yeah,
I think they probably would have been.
I think so too.
And likewise for TCU because they kept that game close. So had they gotten blown out, they might have gotten booted if they got blown out.
If they got blown out, they definitely would have got booted.
Because who would have replaced them though?
Bama.
You think?
Yeah. It's the only team that could. In my opinion.
That's why Saban was on there basically pleading to get in that joint.
Yeah. But I think I just had a point about TCU. Oh, that's been their identity all season. Keep it close, or come back at the end and win, late. Keep it competitive for all 4 quarters, or kind of suck in the first half and then whip it together in the second.
But Michigan not the team that you want. 3 teams you really don't want. I guess the most likely, the team that could lose to TCU would be Ohio State.
Because they let them hang around for long enough.
Yeah, and Ohio State is just real iffy, like the defense.
I think Michigan is in that same boat. Michigan is.
I feel like if Michigan gets a lead, then we're fine. Like if we get up 14, I think the game's over.
Because that run game, bro, that run game is crazy.
If we go into the half up by 10, I think that's fine because then we'll just run the second half out.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I think Michigan has to get an early lead. Make TCU throw the ball, make mistakes, things like that. Because there's been games where Michigan has been tied at halftime, and of course they, like the Rutgers game. I think they were tied at halftime, and then came out and scored quickly, and took a big lead by the end of the third quarter. So, yeah,
real easy.
So I think TCU has a chance as long as they keep it close. I'm not saying they will.
What did you say to who did you say you had?
Oh, me? I got Georgia and Michigan winning their respective matchups. Yeah. I got Georgia winning it all personally.
And that's going to
I'm going to say Michigan because we beat Ohio State, so I'm thinking Jim's trying to go for it all this year, and maybe he transitions that into the NFL because I keep hearing it. But fingers crossed.
Yeah, I think that Natty is going to be a good game now.
I agree.
If it's Georgia and Michigan, I think that's going to be a really good one.
I think it'll be better than last year's, semifinal.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that was a disappointment.
Then who would you rather have, Stetson Bennett or McCarthy?
I ain't gonna lie, and this is no shade to McCarthy, but I think I'd go Stetson. Only just because he's been there.
Fair.
I'm going Stetson.
I'm not saying he's more talented, but
I'm going Stetson because he doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
He wins games.
I would say
he wins games. And it does help that he has an elite supporting cast.
Thank you. I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that because I'm like, their backup could come in.
Yes.
And they would probably still win the Natty.
Yeah. I could play quarterback.
You don't turn the game over. Turn the ball over.
Bro, I think the three of us could each go into the red zone and play a couple snaps and still be okay.
Just swap in every other play.
I'm gonna hand the ball off.
Facts. Hey, I'm out wide. We in a wildcat.
We in a wildcat. You're just out there like not even blocking.
Hey,
I don't want no parts of this.
Since we're talking about good old Stetson Bennett here, can we talk about the Heisman finalists? Because I feel very strongly about this.
Air your thoughts out, bro.
First of all, no Hendon Hooker is a crime. And I understand that he was hurt, but he only missed, 1 or 2 games?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So and if you look up his stats are still better than Stetson Bennett. Like, what are we talking about here? Why doesn't he deserve a shot to be at least a finalist? Not saying he has to win. He needs to be a finalist, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I definitely think he should be in consideration. So, but I mean, the big thing about like the Heisman and those Player of the Year awards, you kind of have to be there all year. And I understand he only missed a couple games, especially towards the end of the season, but
really sealed it was the last was rivalry week, because it was Stroud basically just kind of like the last 10 minutes of the game just throwing picks and not looking great, and that gave it to Caleb Williams.
Yeah. Right. So we got Caleb Williams, CJ Stroud, Max Duggan, and Stetson Bennett.
I think we just need to get away from it's like always quarterbacks. I think honestly, if you're going to give a Heisman to somebody, it should be a running back, because the college running backs carry teams. Like they will have nothing else going on, and 100% they're going to run the ball 76 times this game, and they still produce. But you have these quarterbacks out there with 4- and 5-star receivers, and they're just chucking the ball up against guys that they're 7 inches taller than.
Yeah.
And making these crazy plays. And then we're giving the credit to the quarterback. Give some credit to these running backs that are out there toting the lead. Like Bijan Robinson, that man is a beast, and just nothing.
Blake Corum too.
Just nothing.
Yeah, he definitely.
Mm-hmm. Corum, man, like he's been hurt last couple weeks, so I get why, But once again, running backs, they just need to get their shine.
Yeah,
I just wanted to bring that up real quick. We need to we gotta talk about Week 13 real quick while we're here on this football topic.
Did whose team lost this week? Did anybody's team lose?
Yeah,
almost did.
Almost don't count though. I'll let you go first, Corey. I'll let you go first.
All right, we didn't deserve that win. I'm gonna say it right now, and Tom Brady. If we had scored 17 points and the defense played the exact same way, like if we had scored 17 points in the first half and the defense played the same way, the narrative would be this game was saved by the defense because they played so well. We were missing Antoine Winfield, Sean Murphy Bunting, and Mike Edwards, and the defense just held together. Like every team besides the Panthers would have been tied, and the Panthers would have been a half game out.
Yeah, that the NFC South would have been in shambles.
Mm-hmm.
Shambles.
It already looks like garbage. Like the Bucks are 500 and barely.
You know what's crazy?
Like we're probably gonna go lose to San Fran this week.
Well, they ain't got Jimmy.
What's that?
They got Brock Purdy.
They got Purdy. Mm-hmm.
Hey, and that boy looked good.
That's true.
He looked better than our offense.
That's very true.
He was throwing dimes out there.
But what I was going to say is crazy is that the Commanders, if they were in the NFC South right now, they would be winning that division.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is nuts because they are dead last in the East.
Yeah. I mean, you have Dallas is good. The Giants have surprised me a lot. Nick Sirianni and the Eagles are he's probably the NFL Coach of the Year winner right there. Has to be, in my opinion. Like I feel bad for the Commanders because they're not a bad team, and I feel like if you threw the Commanders in the AFC South, the NFC South, or the NFC North right now, I feel like they would be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And
those divisions is just dog poop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they don't have their starting quarterback. I mean, like Carson Wentz. You know,
that's Heineke. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying.
8-1 in his last 9 starts.
I like Heineke personally because he's
gritty. The locker room loves Heineke.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's whoever the locker room will rally behind. That's the guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the guy who has to play.
I agree.
But he's won so many games, he's done well, and I just kind of forced them to have to play him next year because if he probably finishes the season, and unless he looks really, really bad, and they probably still won't make the playoffs anyway. So, unless he looks really bad at the end, you're not going to be at a point to draft a quarterback, in my opinion, unless it's going to be like a second round guy, and then you're replacing Heineke with a second round guy. Why replace him?
Yeah.
No, I don't think they should, honestly, because they still got to worry about Carson Wentz on their books. So
exactly.
Yeah. I don't know.
Cowboys caught a dub.
Yeah.
You heard me.
Steamrolled them boys. It didn't look so good at the half, though.
At the half, it didn't look good going into the fourth. Bro, it was.
I just don't know. Like, I was watching it, then I stopped watching it, and then I turned the game back on, and I saw 50 points. So I'm like, what is going on?
Here's my thing. Everybody is loving us, and they're like, oh, Cowboys dominated the Colts, this, that, and the other. Bro, I think the Colts just imploded. Like, I don't know if we're good. Like, that's what scares me is I don't know if we're good. The Colts
33 unanswered is kind of weird.
Exactly. Like,
2
picks, 2 fumbles.
They had everything that could have possibly go wrong.
Like the fourth quarter, they were just like, emergency shutdown. That's it.
Facts.
And like our offense, defense scored a touchdown, and then our offense was in great field position. I mean, if you get the ball inside the 40 and you don't score, you have a problem.
That's a problem. Yeah.
I think we got the ball at the 25 once, inside the 20 and then the 30 as well. Like if you don't score some type of points, you have problems. So I'm not going to harp too much on, that we did have a good offensive game, to a degree. Dak did have that one interception early in the first half that just, it didn't upset me that much, being that it was like totally his fault. It was a bang bang play, which I thought was DPI, defensive pass interference, which it could have been, but I was told to let it go. So I did.
They were both being physical, fighting at the top of that route, dog.
Yeah. So I'm not totally mad at it.
And it's Gilly, so they're gonna get some leeway.
So and it didn't hurt us too much, which made it easier to bear. So, but yeah, Cowboys won, and we got the Texans this week. So
I'm starting Michael Gallup at my
good idea. Yeah, let's keep Gallup. Let's
they don't feel comfortable signing him without a workout.
I wouldn't.
You see the Chargers?
Yeah, the Chargers, bro. I mean, we're one game back, so I'm not super heated. But it's like I've been looking at a whole bunch of Chargers blogs, and like I follow a bunch of like beat reporters and stuff that cover the Chargers. It's like split. Like half of the fans think that it's a miracle that we're 6-6, and the other half just think that we don't belong at all. So it's weird. I'm leaning more to the side that it is a miracle because we've been so hurt. And we've won close, ugly games that we probably we're one play away from losing. But I just think every game matters from this point on. Last week mattered. We lost to the Raiders, which hurt. But we cannot lose. So we have I think our toughest two games are next. We have Miami and Tennessee. So Derrick Henry might rush for like 200 yards, but hopefully we can win the game. And then I'm hyped for Tua versus Herbo because Emmanuel Acho keeps working my last nerve talking about Tua like he's the best thing since sliced bread. So Sunday Night Football, I'm tuned in. I'm wearing my jersey and I'm turning my phone off.
The phone's off. 0 dark 30.
Do not disturb, baby.
Yeah, we locked in.
Locked in. So is that the game of the week for week 14?
I mean, personally, that's the game that I care the most about. But
okay.
I think that's definitely probably the most anticipated game. I think low key the Vikings and Lions, that'd be a good game. And there's another divisional game, but I forgot which one it was.
Who the Giants play?
Eagles. That's what it was. Eagles. Eagles. Yeah. Giants. Yep. Yeah, Eagles. Giants.
That's an important game right there. And all Commanders fans need to be rooting for the Eagles.
Commanders, Cowboys too, bro. Go Big Blue.
Well, y'all need to root for the Giants, but Commanders need to root for.
Oh, they got to root for Eagles.
Because the Commanders play the Giants after this at home.
Yeah.
And they flexed that game Sunday night too. So that's a huge game. I'm thinking about going because it's down the street.
Take me with you, Slim.
It's gonna be cold, bro.
Bro, let's go. Hey, look, I will slide.
I need some hand warmers.
That's the 18th. Oh yeah, flex me. Let's go.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
So, okay. Yeah, I think I'm with you, Corey. I think the Vikings and Lions, that'll be a good one. And I'm excited to see Miami and the Chargers. You know, like yes, the Chargers dropped the game, but I think you can still bounce back. Like you weren't terrible.
Yeah, we're gonna get Mike Williams back. Mike Williams and Keenan Allen haven't played a full game together all season, and we're going into week 14. So
that's insane.
It's hard. It's hard to win without your best players on the field, man. So I'm excited moving forward. We'll see.
Okay. Well, I'm excited for this week too. We're getting closer and closer to playoff time. Got some clinching scenarios coming up. Everything is. It just matters that extra little bit more. So,
exactly.
But
I'm excited for draft season too. That's a long way away, but I love me some draft, baby.
Speaking about drafts,
hey, I was just about to bring it up.
So it's time. I think it's time.
Corey said we had a super draft coming, and we're gonna draft superheroes, y'all. We're gonna draft our not our favorites, but a team of 5 superheroes. So the order is going to go myself, Jay, and then Corey. So
You
I'm
gonna
gonna go
snake
ahead.
it again?
Ooh, yeah, damn. I didn't think about that. All right, yeah, let's snake it. That's cool. All right, so I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna take Omni Man. For those of you that don't know who Omni Man is, watch Invincible. It's on Amazon Prime. Thank me later.
Okay.
Amazon, you're welcome.
Yeah, you can have
It's a
that.
good show.
So my turn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going Superman. I feel like I have to. So
Omni Man, Superman, same man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go Superman.
Okay.
I am going to go with the Incredible Hulk.
Okay.
Damn.
Okay. So you
He was on my board.
got a double.
Okay. I'm afraid he's gonna get picked, so I'm gonna take him now. I'm gonna go with Doctor Strange.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a real good one.
That's
not
a
on my
great pick.
board.
All right. So it's back to me now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm gonna catch some flack for this one, but this is just one of my all-time favorites. So I gotta go Batman.
Smoke them. Smoke them.
I gotta go Batman.
So I got a back-to-back here, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bet. Give me Thor and give me Deadpool.
Ooh,
Okay.
I like
Okay.
that.
So what do we have so far?
I got Omni-Man, Thor, and Deadpool.
Okay. And Jay?
I got Superman and Batman, but I'm about to add I'm gonna go Black Panther here.
That's
okay.
Pick.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good pick.
Black Panther with my third pick. Great value, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna switch mine up a little bit. I'm gonna go the Flash.
Ooh. Okay.
I like that.
I like that.
And then you have
another one. Okay, then I'm gonna go Spider-Man.
Let's go. My sleeper picks are still there, baby.
I was gonna come get whatchamacallit too. Who do I want? You know what? Fourth pick. I'm going Captain America here.
Nice one. Nice one.
It's a great pick. I just want y'all to know that you're not beating this team.
Thank you.
With the fourth pick, an impeccable, amazing value, Wolverine.
Oh, okay. I thought about him. I was like, ugh.
I honestly wanted to take him third, but I was like, I really want Deadpool.
I'm not mad at that.
And I like the Deadpool pick too.
Thank you. I'm gonna go with another invincible, basically indestructible. You really can't kill her, you know. Give me Jean Grey.
Okay.
That's gonna round out my 5.
So
all right, Jay, you. Oh.
I got Omni-Man, Thor, Deadpool, Wolverine, and Jean Grey.
Okay, I like that. My fifth pick, I'm going Black Widow here.
Ooh. You got two no power superheroes.
Purely for the aesthetics. I'm not gonna lie. It was becoming it was a bit of a meat fest, so I had to switch it up. But so my 5: Superman, Batman, Black Panther, Captain America, and Black Widow.
All right, nice. And for the final pick, and like Malik said, impeccable value, I'm gonna go with Wonder Woman.
Yeah, not mad at that.
Mm-hmm.
So my 5 is Hulk, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, and I'm blanking.
Who was your?
There's the Flash.
Oh,
the Flash.
The
The
Flash.
Flash. There it is.
Yeah,
We
you
got
can't
some
kill him.
interesting teams. I might get smoked, but it's okay.
Smoked for sure.
It's okay.
You got two people with no powers.
And Batman and Black Widow.
Yes.
But
I don't know. Batman, I feel like that's not a bad pick at all. I feel like Batman was fine. I feel like the Black Widow one may be that might rock some people.
It's a little iffy, but she's resourceful and she's tough.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's enough. It might be like bringing a knife to a gunfight, but
hey, people used to do that.
Sometimes they do win.
Mm-hmm.
So I was gonna say Wanda, but I know that it's iffy because some people say she's not a superhero.
Is she a villain?
I would have given it to you.
Okay.
I would have gave it to you.
Instead of Black Widow, that's where I was gonna go. But I didn't know that was gonna ruffle some feathers. So.
We could have just said no, and then you could have. Dang.
True. Closed mouths don't get fed.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I win.
We'll let the viewers be the judge of that.
Yeah, definitely have to put up a poll.
Yeah, we're definitely putting that up for sure. But thank you all for listening. We're gonna wrap it up tonight. Superhero draft. We're gonna fly away, and please watch this on YouTube or Spotify and see Jay's reaction to what I just said, because please go find it.
You ain't had to say that, bro.
I didn't, and I shouldn't have, but I wanted to anyway. So let's go pack our bags because they're Louis. See y'all next time. It was a pleasure. All love. Take care.